So a lot of stuff going on there. We'll keep an eye on that. And, of course, we'll talk a little Daytona here at 4:30. Ken Willis, Daytona Beach News Journal, obviously getting a little rain there. It has slowed down the nationwide qualifying. But we'll keep you up to date. Ken will have the latest on that. We'll also talk a little bit about the dual races last night over there at Daytona. All right, something we've been talking about since before December is Monster Jam, which is probably one of the big events here in Jacksonville. It is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. It's going to be a great time. A lot of additions going on there now. They've now added 2 more trucks. It'll be 18 trucks. We're not going to see 1 grave digger. We'll see 2 grave digger trucks out there. Should be a lot of fun. And in studio, it's Madusa. Madusa, how are you, hon? Great to see you, and thanks so much for your time.
I'm doing great, thanks. MADUSA, made in the USA, baby. You know what? That digger truck overrated. What do you mean 2 trucks?
2 trucks?
Why shouldn't there be 2 Medusa trucks?
Well, there should be 2, but you got to let me run that show, and we'll hook you up.
Let you run this show.
We'll
I know where that would go.
out there. No. It'll go good. How's everything going? You traveling like crazy, I bet?
Yes, I am. I don't mind it. It's been about, 18 years of pro wrestling,
Right.
and then 14, 15 years of monster trucks, and I think that's what I do best, is live out of a suitcase in a hotel for 30-something years.
You know, you started this, actually, monster truck stuff back in 1999, and boy, over the years, the trucks have really changed, and times have changed. I mean, tell us about it. Now we're seeing trucks doing backflips. I mean, it's unbelievable how much we're seeing out of the trucks now.
Well, I guess you could kind of equalize that with pro wrestling. If you look at that, how times have changed. No one was doing backflips off turnbuckles onto people onto the floor, and now we're doing backflips off of crazy stuff in monster trucks. And now I get to the point, and you worry about, now, what do they expect next?
Right.
What the heck could we do now? I mean, we're jumping airplanes and concrete piles and doing backflips, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, the demographics are totally different than pro wrestling, I've found, and I love my career. I love where I'm at. Being a 2-time champion, it's not easy being a woman in a man's sport. I always have somebody nipping at my tail, wanting to take me off my spot, but it hasn't happened yet. You know, being a big advocate for women.
Right.
When I first got here, when they hired me, they wanted a cross promotion, and they said, you know, Madusa, we need, more women at our events, and we'd like you to come over and try driving a monster truck. And I just said, dude, I've seen one. I've never driven one. Why? Okay, I'll check it out. And I did. And right away, when I test drove it, Dennis Anderson was coaching me at the time, and I drove it upside down in a pond, and bam, landed it, and they said, you're hired. And here I am. So it validates what my nickname as Queen of Carnage, very much so. But my heart is Japan and in wrestling, because wrestling has made me who I am today. It has really molded me into the person, into the path where I'm at. And you go through. Nothing is forever, and if you plan and adjust according through time and stuff, I've always got something going on. You never know what I'm going to do next, and so, what am I going to be? Maybe 18 years here, and I may retire here then. But you never say never on either sport. So I've got something up my sleeves.
Well, yeah.
And who knows? It could be NASCAR. It could be, having my own talk show like The View.
See?
It could be, having my own yogi shop. You never know.
Well, yeah, you've been in the motorcycle business, right? I mean,
yes,
you're actually in Orlando, right?
Yeah, no, over in Tampa area. Yeah. Yes. When I was married to Ken Blackman, and he played for the Tampa Bay Bucks and Cincinnati Bengals. Just a small guy, offensive lineman, about 350, 6'6", yeah. And we owned a Harley shop. It was actually called Spooky Cycles, and we made many bikes for the NFL players. And we just went our separate ways. We were just friends, and he went on, I went on, and yeah.
Let me ask you too about the girls. You brought that up. Pretty close to Courtney and Candace Jolly. Candace will be out here running this coming weekend, the girls. How much more does that bring to see the more women coming into this sport like that?
Well, again, when I first started, there wasn't any women, and even in the fan section. And here's what I've been doing my whole life. I've actually been paving the way for the change of the sign of the times, and I did that for wrestling. I changed the way women's wrestling was and the way women looked, and also for monster trucks. And now we do have Candace Jolly. We have Becca McDonough. We have Nicole Johnson. So we have 3 women that you know, that are driving, that are making their grounds. I mean, let's see, Candace has been here the longest, and I really wish she would win a championship because it's really lonely sitting here by myself, and I need my sidekick to run hard with me here, but I'm always rooting for her, so I hope she does well this year, so it'd be nice to share the throne with her, absolutely.
You know, when you look at these trucks, I mean, the power, it's unbelievable, 1,500 horsepower, over 10,000 pounds. I mean, these things got to be a bear to handle. Talk about being outdoors with something like that, where you could really open up a truck.
Well, I mean, girls like to get dirty. Yeah. Girls like big toys.
Right.
So what better than to be in a 10,000 pound machine with all that G-force and flying through the air. Now, I used to beat people up for a living. This truck beats me up for a living. So, but at least in the squared circle, we could handle our opponent and, you know, take care of them. I mean, granted, people got hurt in wrestling and in monster trucks, but in the monster truck, you can't really control it because if you've got a wheel flying, I mean, you're just out of luck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What was it like beating Dennis in the World Finals? You beat him in the World Finals. I mean,
well, let's go back to Courtney Force because
okay,
not just back to Courtney Force. It kind of correlates to this whole feeling of that because it was the most memorable, just amazing feeling in monster truck history. And I wish they would have marketed it and promoted it more because it would have been hands down the best thing they ever could have done. Because here it is. Just picture this. Here they are. So we're racing in the bracket World Finals. You've got all these trucks, 18 trucks, and you got the bracket. Blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, you got 2 left. And who is it? Dennis Anderson and Madusa.
Wow.
Teacher against student. Chevy against Ford. Man against woman. And I'm like, I'm sitting in the truck revving it, just sitting there at the light going, ah, and I'm like, I can hear this. I'm like, shut the hell up. God, just shut your mouth. I got to get going, right? All of a sudden, wah, it turns green, and I was like, whew. And it was the moment. And right before that light turned green, the first thought in my mind was Shirley Muldowney and Big Daddy Don Garlitz.
Right.
Woo! Does that just give you chills?
Wow, that's right. Yeah.
So that's, well, I mean, not a different scale, but yeah.
It is interesting. Again, don't forget tomorrow night, Monster Jam at Everbank Field. Tickets are available, so you want to get out there and check it out.
Two-time champion and my favorite peace sign.
Peace sign.
Yes, and yes, I mean, we still have tickets available. The sun is out now, which is great. Even though I don't mind a mud bath, it looks good on my face. So I mean, it doesn't matter, rain or shine.
It shouldn't be as bad as it was last year.
Oh my gosh! But you know what?
Last year, wasn't it?
Monster Jam is great because they'll go through anything. They'll keep a show running. They do. I mean, it's just it'll keep going, and the fans stay. So they may have all ran out of their seats last year, but they were all underneath going, "Yeah, still run!" You know, with all the little eyes peeking out. But it was a lot of fun.
What was the difference, or what's the big difference being outside? And obviously, you have more horsepower, more room to run, but being indoors, you got to kind of tone it down because in this quarter, you guys do a lot of indoor shows.
It's a good question. People say, how can they do those shows in those small arenas versus the stadiums? And so, excuse me, it is what they do, and what I found is they choose a lot of the vet drivers, it looks like, to put them in that small arenas because they know they will control it and tame it down a little bit so we don't run into anything, you know, the wall, but not so much. You'll still, then all of a sudden you'll see an Anderson in one of these small arenas. He'll be scratching your head going, uh-oh, uh-oh. But it is different. It's just the magnitude of it. When you've got a big floor like this, I call this is a playground. This is Madusa's playground here at this Jacksonville Arena, and they love me. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's like I think I have a huge crossover of wrestling fans here. So, and I like it because they're a heel crowd. Oh, and I'm a heel, and they know. They're like, oh gosh, okay, oh my gosh, we just gave Madusa the mic. What is she going to say? Oh my gosh.
Do the other drivers get intimidated? Because you know, all racing does bring out a lot of maybe, you know, I wouldn't know, anger, but you know, pissed off or something. Did any other guys ever try to challenge you when you got out of the truck or anything? I mean, that move wasn't right that you made. Do you ever run into that?
2 things. Nobody's my friend on race day. Second, nobody challenged me. Nobody has challenged me on the mic because they know I will drop them. My background is from pro wrestling.
Right.
So everyone gets scared. I mean, I don't know, a couple weekends ago, I was just like, you know, I'm going to put some smack on some people. This is it. I mean, I don't like you. And I'm just going on. All the fans are like, yeah. And everyone's going, oh no, she's got the mic. And all the crowd just loved it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, none of the boys would say nothing. They wouldn't even challenge me. I'm like, oh, lame. This is lame. You don't got a pair. What the heck? So all of a sudden, we had one guy, and it was one of the independent drivers, and all of a sudden he just started cutting it. He was cute. He was the cutest little baby face, and the crowd ran over there, was cheering him on. And so what did I do? I ran over there in the middle of his interview and just took the mic and just gave it right back to him. So that is good stuff. That's good.
A little wrestling effect there, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we can race, have fun, and crash, but you know what? I put asses in the seats by that promo. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have any contact with any former wrestlers? You still
all the time,
yeah.
But I bring them here all the time. In fact, I just Ivory just came to my last show. A couple of the divas. CM Punk was there. He came in. I got him in. A lot of different.
Yeah.
I mean, so I do keep in touch with a handful, and some a lot of my friends have passed.
Right.
And so, yeah.
It is amazing, though, how well wrestling has continued to stay strong over the years, and obviously with everything that's going on with it now, how big it really is.
Well, I will say this, and Vince is a marketing genius.
Right. Yep.
I always say, I'm only as good as my truck. I'm only as good as my crew chief. And a partial is me, and the other big part is my marketing. Mm-hmm. Marketing can make or break you on anything. And when Vince has got something, I remember him saying that his biggest mistake was focusing on one tool, and that was Hulk Hogan, and just promoting him, and then nothing. What happened? He almost everything went on a downslide. So then he got it. Ka-ching. Mm-hmm. He started marketing 20 different wrestlers, and why not? And everything evened out. Yeah. So, he's got some amazing things, and now he just opened up the Performance Center in Orlando. But, Feld is getting pretty clever. I mean, it's kind of in its infancy coming, into international because we're all over the United States. So during first quarter, which is January, February, and March, that's our busiest. Okay. So we've got 10 to 13 shows going on from East to West Coast. And, I mean, we're on the road pounding pavement, for 3 months. We don't even,
stop,
you may get home once every couple of weeks, kiss the baby, squeeze the husband, do whatever, pat the dog, and drop the clothes and leave again. And that's basically it. So what Feld has done is then intermittently they have, and what their goal is do international shows, and like pound and pavement as well. So while we're doing a Europe show, we'll be doing Latin America, we'll be doing Australia stuff, and now we're headed over to Asia. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've again gave birth to all of those and opened up all those doors and paved the pavement, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And there's a lot of difference. And the one thing too about Feld is now they are putting their whole family and their whole organization right down here in Florida, which he owns Barnum and Bailey Circus. He owns Disney on Ice, Monster Jam, and so now we're trying to put them all in one area, kind of like the Performance Center type of thing is what they're doing down here. So it's really refreshing to see as well.
It's exciting. Tomorrow night, two-time champion Madusa.
MAD-USA, baby.
Right, tomorrow night, cheer her on. It'll be a lot of fun out there.
Pit
7 o'clock. Pit party, 1:30 tomorrow. Get in
I
there.
love when everybody dresses up in pink because pink is such a strong color, and real men wear pink. I'm just saying. It represents breast cancer. We have a huge run going on here in Jacksonville, so a lot of those women, I hope, come on out. And, of course, my Harley's pink, too. So
it's all pink, right?
Everything's pink.
Good luck tomorrow night. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're busy. It's really an honor to have you come in the studio. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Everyone say I'm a role model or a hero. I'm not. The real heroes wear uniforms.
Right, absolutely. The website, Madusa.com. Check it out. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Ken Willis, Daytona Beach Journal. He'll join us next. We'll talk a little Daytona International Speedway. We'll do that next. You're listening to Sports Radio 930.